And we are live. Good morning, crypto warriors, and welcome back to the Gentlemen of Crypto episode 796. Today is Tuesday, September 14, 2021, and I'm King.
I'm Bitcoin Zay, and we're here to bridge the gap between cryptocurrency and the community Monday through Friday at 10-ish.
At 10-ish, in today's top stories, we only have a couple of them. Zip eyes millennials with planned launch of crypto trading in the U.S. next year. And El Salvador's Bitcoin wallet is 95% fixed, President Bukele says. And also, we will have a very special guest for you. But first and foremost, Bitcoin Zay, what is going on with those prices?
Oh, yeah. So taking a look at our prices for today, Bitcoin at $46,273 is up 1.4%. Ethereum sitting at $3,331 is up 2.2%. Cardano at $233, down 4% today. Binance Coin sitting at 473 is up 0.1%. XRP, a little bit over $1 at $1.06, down 0.44%. Solana at $155, a huge drawdown this week, down 3%. Polkadot at 37.76 is up 9.8% today. Dogecoin at 23 cents, down 0.6%. And last but not least, Uniswap at 23.94 is up 6.8%. So a lot of big gains for Solana and some of the other coins last week. So of course we are expecting a drawdown, probably a lot of sideways movement going to the end of the month.
There it is. And want to give a quick shout out and thank you to our show sponsor today, Crypto Vantage. Of course, you can check them out at go.cryptovantage.com/gentleman tap crypto, where they're doing this Crypto Vantage wallet giveaway contest. We have 29 days left where you can sign up for your chance to win a hardware wallet and win $1,500, $1,000, or $500 to invest in crypto. And again, you already knew to sign up for that weekly newsletter, but check out that link. We put it in the chat to look at the 7 other ways to enter. And again, please enter. We want you all to win it. Crypto Vantage is doing a great thing right now as far as this new website, and they are trying to give away this money to get more people to check them out and roll with the Crypto Vantage team. So again, we love to find these little things for our warriors, so make sure you check those out. And without further ado, we would like to announce our very special guest today. Welcome to the show, notable. I was going to say notable, infamous. I want to say infamous because she's all over the media right now. Infamous divorce attorney, Sandra M. Radna. What's important about her, she's not just your regular divorce attorney. Of course, you know we brought her on the show because she has that crypto edge. She knows about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, blockchain, and all things that we talk on this show all day. She's been featured in Decrypt Media, CNBC, and she's the author of What You're Getting Divorced Now What? You're getting divorced now. What? I said that wrong.
It sounds kind of like good. Like what? You're getting divorced? Now what?
Well, without further ado, let's bring Sandra M. Radna to the show. Thank you.
Oh yeah, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me on, guys. I appreciate it.
No, we love talking to people who have like a different. They're looking at cryptocurrency from a different point of view, and yours is truly unique point of view. Something that Bitcoin Zay's talked about on the show many times before is like, hey, you know, people need to start looking into Bitcoin when it comes to divorces and all this other stuff. And you're actually expertise in that already.
Yes. It's like definitely a marital asset. People who are looking the other way and not realizing that it was there lost out, because now people are becoming more aware, and it's going to get divided like any other marital asset, just like the house, just like the bank account, just like the stocks.
I just started off, I have to ask, how did you hear about Bitcoin? How did you get into it? What's the deal? What made you say, oh, I want to pivot my business to also educate myself about this? What made you want to do that?
Well, I think that we all heard about it. I heard about it in the background. Like we knew that it was there. Like you've been hearing a little bit in the news, but what I started noticing is it was becoming more mainstream. We were hearing more and more about it, that everywhere you turned, there was something else. And I guess in the beginning of this year, around January, I started thinking I really have to start paying attention. And we had one case where somebody came to us and they were a high earner, but it looked like they had no assets. Like they had nothing. They had $200,000 retirement retirement asset. That was it. We're like, where's all the money going? And we were representing the wife, and she's like, I don't know. And I said, does he invest in cryptocurrency? She's like, no, he doesn't know anything about that. You know, like I don't, he never talked about it. And that's what it was. And what people don't realize is that they think that it's hidden until it's found. You know how people say like it was great until it wasn't? They think it's hidden, but once you have the information, it's all right there. You guys talk about it all the time. Like everything's right out on the blockchain. So as an attorney, all we have to do is have a suspicion that it exists and then do what's called discovery and to find it out. And once we get the information, there it is. And it's a marital asset. And because it hasn't been around that long, even if in a short duration of a marriage, it might still be a marital asset because the United States is divided up into two different types of states. There's community property states and equitable distribution states. So community property states say that whatever you own at the time that you're getting divorced is 50-50. That's what, I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember Eddie Murphy's thing about Johnny Carson, and Johnny sitting there going, she got half. They were in California. So equitable distribution states like New York, which is where I am, they get 50% of what was accumulated during the marriage. So they call that the marital portion. So even if it's a short duration marriage, even if you're only married a few years, you probably only got Bitcoin or any kind of cryptocurrency during that time. So the spouse would be entitled to 50% of that entire amount, which could be a little bit, but it could be a lot. Like if they were an early Bitcoin person, that's like worth a lot of money right now. If they were, Dogecoin, maybe not, but but whatever,
Shots fired.
Right.
So you do know what you're talking about.
What
Hey, she does know what she's talking about.
It does make a difference. So the most important thing is to just suspect that it's there. Most people tell me, no, I don't think so. But whenever I see that there's low assets with a high earner, I always suspect it. And I would say about 80% of the time it's there. So it's pretty interesting.
I can't help but cheese when you say that. Like, hey, something isn't making sense. Hey, listen, at least you know to tell the difference.
Yeah.
So basically what you're telling us is if you're going to get divorced, do it in a bull market, because if you would be pissed if you got it. Let's say Bitcoin goes to 100,000 and you're in the middle of proceedings and then the settlement comes out, but they don't have to pay it until it goes back all the way down to 40K or something.
That's not even
would that happen?
That's not really how it goes. What they would get is they would get 50% of the Bitcoin. So it doesn't matter what the value is. So it's not that they're getting 50% of the value of what it is today. They're getting 50% of the asset. So if they got 50% of the Bitcoin where it's going to go up and down, they're going to hold on to that. They could do whatever they want once they have their share of it. But it really doesn't matter what the value is today. It's that it could become anything. Like you can get 50% of the Dogecoin and who knows what happens, a year from now. And Dogecoin's doing really great. So you're really getting 50% of the asset. It's just like stocks, like you're getting 50% of the stocks, even if it's low now, it's going to go up and down.
I think that's very important to note. And I think it's going to set precedent when it comes to regulations, because what you're essentially saying is what Bitcoiners have been screaming out for forever, but nobody's listened to. Folks, she literally just said it. 1 Bitcoin equals 1 Bitcoin. 1 Bitcoin equals 1 Bitcoin. So that's interesting to see, because especially as they talk about TaxNet and how much it's worth, and everybody's looking at price point. It's like, well, hold on. The divorce court, they're saying it's 1 Bitcoin equals 1 Bitcoin. So it has to be some type of, it has to be some type of consistency when it comes to that. So it'll be interesting to see how this matures and progresses. Really quick, wanted to give some quick shout outs. Hey, DM Carr, Jake Beaver, Bill Spiv, Carson. Good morning, Carson. First time I've seen that name. Crazy BX Don. Everybody saying good morning, and glad to see Zay's back and healthy. Same here. I'm glad to see Zay's alive.
Oh yeah, I'm breathing now, baby.
Johnny Midas. Good morning from Malibu. Hey, what's going on, Johnny Midas? You're up the street. Crypto Report Hub. Good morning, Kendra D. Yes, everyone's saying hello to Miss Sandra as well. They said Brittany Renner has entered the chat. Hilarious. Yeah, it's definitely going to be some listeners today. Like, okay, now let me figure this out. Divorce court is one of the biggest gangs that are out there, says Keone Mason. Yes, good morning. Good morning, all. Bitcoin Zay, go ahead. I know you got a bunch of questions.
Oh yeah. Well, one of the biggest things that I definitely want to know is, as far as digital assets go, are NFTs involved as an asset? Because I know since they're becoming popular as well, a JPEG could now be worth $500,000, and you may not even realize that it exists. Is that a part of the assets that are equitable?
Yep, that is part of the assets, NFTs, SFTs too. Like, so it's just like it's going to be a marital asset. How it's going to be divided, we don't know, because with an NFT, it's just one thing. It's not, you can't divide it in half, but it's going to be the value of that. So it's going to be appraised, and they're going to say what the value is. And maybe it's going to be in the agreement whenever it's sold or whenever you get something for it, that's when you have it. Now, some people have NFTs just because it's cool to have, like they just want to have that, and it's not about the value. So it might be that the person that's more attached to it is going to keep that, but based on that appraised value, the spouse is going to get something that's of equal value to offset that.
Just to play devil's advocate, is there some sort of tampering law that exists where, say there's a guy, he's like, I got 20,000 worth of NFTs, and my bitch wife is taking half of it. Hey man, I'm gonna sell them for $1 a piece for the appraisal. Is there like a law against that? Because I could already see dudes being like, well, forget it. If I can't have the money, neither can she. Sell them for sell them for $1.
It's not so much a law, but the judge has discretion on what they're going to do, and the behavior or the bad behavior of a spouse not doing what they're supposed to do is taken into consideration when dividing up the marital assets. So if somebody did that, it's just like if somebody purposely reduced their income, the court's going to do what's called impute income to you. So if you were making, $500,000 a year, and you said, you know what, I don't want to give my spouse anything, and then you take a job making $30,000 a year, the judge is like, you know what, you can make $500,000 a year because you've made $500,000 a year for the last 10 years. So guess what? You might say you're making 30,000, but we're going to do child support and spousal support based on the 500,000. And I think it would be the same thing with the NFT or any other asset that you undervalued and undersold, because the spouse is going to have their own appraiser who's going to come in and say, here's what this was really worth. And if they really undersold it, then they're going to say that was a fraudulent transaction. They probably sold it to a friend for $1. The friend knows that they're going to have to give it back because it's really worth more money. And they're going to be held to what the higher value was. And the spouse will get something that's equal to that higher value.
And really quick, Zay, to be fair, listen, it is some women balling in crypto.
I was just about to flip it. I was about to say, on the other hand, I was going to say, hey, what if there's a woman that has a lot of crypto? This dude
all these girls want to ball in crypto?
Yep. That's why I'm not saying, I'm just saying spouse or other side, because that's right.
You want to sit your bra on Instagram and trade? You run that account up? That's okay. That's okay. We know you got some crypto too. No. Sergeant Crypto, I'm just going to say it out loud, even though it literally was just answered. So for sure, thank you for the tip. He essentially was saying, like, yeah, how would someone take their crypto if like they lost their keys, or they lost their keys like seriously, like they lost them, or if they intentionally lost them or unintentionally lost them? Would it be the same thing as like, Judge, I haven't saw that crypto wallet in 4 years. Like, will they? Oh well, we know you own it. How would that go? I guess
that's a difficult situation, because if they really lost it, they don't have access to it either, and they're probably losing their mind anyway. And if they genuinely lost it, there's really nothing anybody can do. Like you're just out of luck. So I guess it would really just depend on the credibility of that person about if they really lost it or not. I mean, if they really lost it, there's really nothing there's nothing you
It's like Ocean's 11 though. The judge gonna be like, hey, if we ever see you with some money.
I think that what would happen is there would be a lot of discovery and research and looking into it to see if they really lost it. If they were, if it looked like if they lost it, but then they bought other crypto, which they probably would, then we would be looking at that, and maybe we wouldn't know what the value of what they lost is, but they're probably going to be a lot more careful. And I don't think people are losing their keys as much as they were in the beginning, because they realized the consequences. Like in the beginning, people were like, oh, I could just do, I'll get a new password or something, just like forgot password. And they didn't realize that, no, that's it. You're done. That's game over. So I think now that people are more careful, that happens less. That's my perception anyway. I don't know if I'm right.
I like it. I'm smiling because it's funny. Like as soon as I asked it, we were like, well, we'll see if they bought any other crypto. I'm like, oh, she is good. She's good, folks. If you're going through a divorce and the crypto's involved, you know who to call. Like just the fact that you already knew, like, oh, let's look at buying habits. Let's look at X, Y, and Z. What you got, Bitcoin Zay?
Oh yeah. So I wanted to ask about prenuptial agreements. Will they be changing to include cryptocurrency, or is it already a part of it? Because I know a lot of the laws are going to have to be rewritten or at least kind of changed just to fit the entire digital asset space, which is a lot. So is that happening now, or is it already in place?
Well, that's a great question, because prenuptial agreements and postnuptial agreements, and the difference between a prenup and a postnup is one's done before you get married and one's done after you get married. But both are very specific to the person's situation. So they're very detailed. So if somebody has assets, and a prenup is perfect because everybody's all open and happy when they're first getting married, right? And they're usually really proud of all the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency they own. So they're talking about it. So that's a perfect time to have it included. In order for a prenup to be valid, you have to list all of your assets, like it's required. So the cryptocurrency would also be listed on there. Now, in a postnup, that might get a little trickier, because after the marriage, people aren't so open and forthcoming about everything. So if you have the idea that your spouse is investing in cryptocurrency, and say there was financial infidelity, they didn't consult you about something and they went ahead and they purchased cryptocurrency and the spouse didn't agree, but then they found out about it and now they want to do a postnup, that's a really good time to make sure that now you have complete transparency moving forward, so that financial infidelity doesn't happen again.
What? Financial
infidelity.
I love it.
You cheated on me with your wallet. I can't believe you were buying crypto behind my back. It's over.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
You bought fake moons? Oh, how can I marry this?
It's a trust issue.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Let's see. People are asking. Okay, you just answered the prenup and postnup, Todd. So yes, thanks for that question. I did see one more quick question that was really good. The comments, they blast down so quickly. I gotta scroll back up. I'll scroll back up and find it. I saw one other really good question, but I'll find it. I guess, and when it comes to the divorce laws, I guess there aren't many crypto lawyers that know a lot about it. So if someone did need a divorce lawyer, say for example, do you handle all the United States, or are you just saying I can only handle New York? And how does it happen where it's like, well, I'm in a state, I'm in Mississippi, we don't know that much about crypto or whatever. Like, how do I get help? So how does that work?
Okay. Well, I am only licensed in New York, but if somebody was going to another divorce attorney in their state, you would just ask them the questions. What do they know about cryptocurrency? And there are attorneys all over the place that are well versed in this. You just have to ask the questions. One of the things I talk about in my book is that you have to interview your attorney, and I actually give a checklist of here's the questions that you should ask. So you always want to know that the attorney has experience in whatever your issue is. So if your issue is, I think my spouse has been investing in crypto and has been hiding it from me and I need someone to buy it, that's a question that you ask the attorney when you meet with them. Do you know about this? And if they just say, oh yeah, sure, I know crypto, kryptonite, they don't know what it is, then you go on to the next person, because you can tell right away whether somebody knows something or somebody doesn't know something. And if you know even a little bit about cryptocurrency, when you're speaking to the attorney, you're going to know if they understand what you're talking about or not. If they really don't, then that's not the right one for you. And you'll find the right one, and you'll know when you find the right one. But that being said, if anyone had an attorney in a different state that they wanted me to speak to their attorney about this, just to give them kind of the overview of what they should look for, what they should ask for in discovery, I'm happy to talk to anybody and help out the other attorneys to let them know what they need to look for, because
that might be the new business thing for you right there. A quarterly attorney crypto getaway, teach them everything, because like some of the questions you are already asking or saying, I mean, I wouldn't even thought of that.
Well, one of the things that's really important in a divorce is that you want to secure everything right in the beginning. I serve discovery demands right with the complaint, right when you start serving it, because people get rid of stuff like that hard drive. Oh, my car ran over it. I don't know what you're talking about. Like you want to get everything right in the beginning so that they can't destroy anything that you're going to need, because if you don't have the hard drive in the computer anymore, you don't have access to any of even a bank statement is helpful because you originally used cash to purchase the cryptocurrency, so that can help. But when it comes through onto your computer, if you don't know the exchanges, I'm thinking of the wrong word, not the exchanges. What is
The
the word I'm
wallets or
thinking of?
whatever.
No, like what are the shortcuts for what everything is, like for Monero or
Oh,
what?
okay, right, yeah.
The what do you guys call it?
Like
This tax
privacy
name.
coins.
No. Oh my goodness. Like the abbreviations for the different
Oh, the
names of
tickers, like the ticker
the
symbol.
tick the yeah, the ticker symbols. If you don't know that, it might come through on an email, but once you see it, you would, if you did know what it was, you would say, okay, this stands for Monero, or this stands for, I don't know, like Dogecoin or Bitcoin's easy, but some of them you can't really tell. Somebody might not know what polka dot is. They might think
No,
it's
people don't know what
something on a
BTC is.
dress.
You're right. If people see
So
BTC, they're still like, wait, what?
right. So if you get the computer and somebody goes to the emails, which would not be me, that would be a forensic computer analysis analyst who would look through it. That's what they would look for. They would just look for things in the emails that show the different abbreviations, and this way you would know the ticker symbols that the person was buying this, and somebody else might look at it and not even realize because they didn't know what that was. So you want to do everything nice and early so you have everything protected. And in my experience, usually people get a little concerned, a little nervous that the attorney knows this much and they're asking for this information. They're like, oh, of course, Your Honor, we're going to give everything and we're going to be very transparent. And the case usually settles pretty quick once they hear that, because they don't want everybody in their stuff. So
I wanted to ask too, outside of just the assets, what about miners? What if you have a small mining operation? Would they be forced to give up half of the hardware or half of the profit from their mining operation?
Well, miners are different because the spouses usually know that there's a mining account,
Okay.
because that's usually something like the people that had that will come in and they said, we have a mining account, we know about it. And they don't necessarily want the hardware, but they want access to see what's been going on. And then they would also want half of the value if they ever gave it up, or whatever money they're getting from it, on a monthly or quarterly basis, they would want maybe a portion of that.
Oh yeah, yeah, and I wanted to throw in too, because I know we've thrown out a lot about the law and what it is, but I want to ask you personally, in theory, I know the law is that they should get half, but do you think in theory, because Bitcoin was created for you to be self-sovereign, could somebody make an argument at some point that each individual person, their own Bitcoin and crypto is theirs and it can't be taken in a state because it wasn't created by the state? Is that an actual argument at some point? Just in your opinion, is that actually something
I
that
think that the argument could be made, but I don't think it would be successful because, and use this analogy, when you're working in your job, say one spouse is working and the other one's not, and you're the only one that ever worked in your job, your spouse never stepped a foot in your job. All of that money is considered marital money because it was earned during the marriage, even though the spouse never worked there. So it's really the same thing. Like and you're talking about like a fine-tuned thing, like we're saying that Bitcoin
like basically like code
security,
mine? Yeah, you weren't shooting with me in the gym.
but
Like,
Bitcoin's a currency. So even though it's not considered a security, it's considered it is a currency, and a currency is just like money. So even if you were, your job pays you in cash or by check, even if your spouse never worked there, that income is considered marital income. That whatever you purchase with that, whatever you saved, whatever's in your bank accounts would be considered marital. So whatever's in your Bitcoin account, even if it was just yours, even if you were the only one that did anything with it, even if it was supposed to be sovereign, is still marital. Sorry.
And you may have answered this already, but how does a living will or trust fit into all this, and does it fit into it at all?
Well, a trust, and I'm not a trust and estates attorney, but what a trust does is it protects assets. So, but it wouldn't shield you if you were trying to just use it to hide money from your spouse. It wouldn't shield you from doing that. The spouse would have to be, so if you took marital money, like in anticipation of divorce, and put it in a trust, that trust can be invaded because you would show that it was done just to hide money from a divorce. However, if both spouses knew that a trust was being made for a child, and that money was going into that trust and they both agreed to it, then that trust would protect the money and the spouse would not be able to invade that trust in order to, for a divorce, for purposes of divorce. I mean, a trust and estates attorney could tell you more details, but from my perspective, that's really the criteria of deciding if we could ask the court to invade or invalidate that trust, and if not, and if we can't.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm definitely going off of some of your criteria. I pulled it up as you were speaking. Your bio said pit bull with a heart. I was like, oh yeah, I can see it. I can see it. You play around if you want to. You get the wrong attorney on your head, people. All right. One of the top stories today, actually, as we were talking about, of course, kids and everything, Zip eyes millennials with planned launch of crypto trading in the U.S. next year. Says Aussie buy now, pay later, a fintech found that BNPL users are 67% more likely to trade crypto than non-users. So looks like Australian buy now, pay later firm Zip, the smaller rival to Square's recently acquired Afterpay, is hitching its future growth prospects to the cryptocurrency industry. Zip USA CEO Brad Lindenberg told attendees at the company's first retail investor day that, quote, the innovation around crypto feels like the internet did in 1995. The company's interest in crypto has previously been hinted at and is now materializing into concrete plans. A project integrates crypto trading functionality for United States users and enables its merchants to accept Bitcoin payments. Bitcoin Zay, what does this story mean in the grand scheme of things?
Oh, yeah. So overall, what it means is, like Zip's co-founder Peter Gray has told reporters, that support for crypto trading and providing a digital wallet was among the top requests, hinting that it understands this younger generation of customers. So what we're seeing is that there's a millennial generation coming in to the market. Basically using their money in the crypto market for trading, and they realize this, and they're starting to try and take advantage of it, just like anybody else. The biggest thing here is trying to not take advantage of them like Robinhood. Or Robinhood has a lot of millennial traders on there, people that think they get rich overnight. We saw what happened with AMC, with some of the stocks where they literally shut down the trading engine. So hopefully this doesn't happen with Zip, but I think it is good. I just kind of hope it's not a house of cards, because if they're like Afterpay, where you can pay later, hopefully it doesn't turn into a credit system being used to pay for crypto to gamble basically on the price of crypto. So hopefully they do that, but I don't think they care too much. They're in the business of making money, and they're going to get a lot of fees from a lot of traders. We just have to make sure the education is there so you can protect yourself.
Sandra, from what you're seeing, and I mean, Bitcoin Zay and myself, we're a millennial. So, I mean, it is clear, yes, millennials are into crypto fully. This is definitely going to be something we adopt as far as our generation. It looks like Generation Z with TikTok, they seem to really like cryptocurrency as well, or at least the opportunity for them to make money in the market. So as we start to see this proliferate, what's kind of what you're seeing on your side as far as your timeline, or is this something that you're starting to see pop up more? Are lawyers starting to learn about this more? Do you think this is something that should be taught in schools as far as, cryptocurrency and how it could affect marriage and stuff? I guess, what are you seeing on your side of the fence when it comes to, marriage, divorce, and how many people are starting to use cryptocurrency?
Well, we are starting to see, I'll take all parts of your question. We are starting to see more continuing legal education about cryptocurrency, because people are starting to realize how important it is, and not just in the area of divorce, but just everything, like in theft of it, in security, anything that any business that's taking it, like how do businesses take it? Business attorneys are learning about that so they could advise their clients. So it's really everywhere. So people, I would say this year, more than anything, we're really starting to see more people, at least in the legal world, taking notice of it and learning more. As far as should it be taught in school? Well, I think that it should be taught. I'm sure that it's being taught in business schools, because they have to. Even Venmo is taking crypto. I mean, it's everywhere now. So knowledge is power, and to just put your head in the sand and say this isn't a real thing that's going to happen is a big mistake, because you have to know what you're talking about when you're talking to people. So I think that it is definitely being taught in colleges. I think that it will start filtering down to younger and younger grades, like high school and then eventually grade school. And I think it's going to be more and more mainstream. I think it's here to stay. More and more businesses are starting to accept crypto. And I think that people have to have at least a basic working knowledge of what it is, what the different terminology is, what it means, and how to use it if they want to use it. You're not required to use it, but you should at least know about it. So I do think it's something that should be taught and people should be aware of, even on a basic scale, of knowing about it. So did that answer your questions?
No, it does. I'm over here smiling because it's crazy to here. I haven't heard a lot of other professionals really know what they're talking about when it comes to Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, like the industry and environment. So just the things that you already kind of know what to look for and look at or whatever is pretty interesting to me, because I'm like, it's happening. It's like I'm sure there's not that many divorce attorneys out there who are as versed as you, but it's just the fact this is the first time I'm seeing again a divorce attorney who exactly knows what they're talking about in this crypto space. So it's like, it's one of those things where I'm looking at, like, it's coming, folks. Like, this is about to be like next court TV. NFTs, like Bitcoin's ASIC. NFTs out here,
Yeah, somebody had a meme about that. They were on the floor fighting over different NFTs in court. There was like court in 2028. But I wanted
and I think it'll be court in 2022. Like, I don't think that it's going to be that far. I don't think it's that far away. Yeah. I think that there's things that we just haven't heard of the famous case yet, but I think that it's already happening.
Yeah, so, and I would love to see not see it happen, but I'm sure there'll be a famous case so people can see how real it really is. Because once it starts getting into the divorce court stuff, it gets really real there. It isn't just a collectible or something I'm playing around with at that point. So,
as professional athletes are starting to take their pay in cryptocurrency, you know that the next thing that's going to happen is going to be in divorce court, because if they're taking their pay in cryptocurrency thinking like, well, I don't know what they're thinking, but say they're thinking, okay, now this is mine, it's cryptocurrency, nobody could touch it. Well, that's not true, because if you're married and it was earned during the marriage, it's still a marital asset. And if you're receiving it as your income, it could be used as income to determine child support and spousal support. So if that income grows, so the reason that a professional athlete was probably saying, pay me in crypto, because they think that money is going to grow, right? That the cryptocurrency is going to increase in value, which means that their income actually increased in value. That's what the goal is. So if their income increased in value, when they figure out the amount of child support and spousal support, it's not going to be based on what the value was when they purchased the cryptocurrency and gave it to them. And it might not even be the value of what their contract was. So say their contract was for X million dollars and they got X million dollars worth of cryptocurrency, but that cryptocurrency now grew. I think the argument could be made that the income is actually that higher amount, and that child support and spousal support should be based on that higher amount, not the amount that was just contracted to pay them. So it's very interesting to see how it'll turn out.
Man, I'm gonna stay with each other. Go ahead, Zay.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So basically, what you're saying is, don't get married. All right, cool.
Well, if you get
don't
married,
get divorced.
But if you get married, have a prenup or postnup, and then you could avoid all of that. So,
well, I wanted to get into the juicy stuff, the child support, the child support. Somebody said Brittany Renner's in the chat. So that is something that is probably more prevalent amongst pro athletes. A lot of them may not even get married, but they pretty much all have kids. So the child support part of cryptocurrency, how does that work if they don't get paid in cryptocurrency, or if they do?
Well, if they don't get paid in cryptocurrency and they just have it as an asset, child support does not touch your assets. So they would be okay. Their assets would be protected. So child support only is based on income. So if they took the cryptocurrency as income, that's where the child support could be based on the much higher amounts. However, and there's all different things to talk about, but you're only going to get a certain amount of child support based on the needs of the child. So say, for example, the year before you got a certain amount of money and as your salary, and then the following year you got this cryptocurrency and it went up really high, but then the next year it went down really low. The court's not going to base it just on that really high year. They're going to base it based on what are you making. And I think one analogy would be if somebody had a salary plus commission, say they were in sales or something where they got commission, and they had one unbelievable year where their commission almost matched their salary and they made a lot of money. The court will say that commission is speculative. At least that's what I would argue, is that it's speculative, that you can't base it based on that, because we don't know if next year you're going to make that same commission. And I would say the same thing about the cryptocurrency. We never know how it's going to be. Like you could think the market's really high and you're really happy, and then it could go crash really low. And because you don't know what it is, I would say that we'd have to see what an average is and not base it on that really high number. But the asset's protected unless they're taking it as income.
All right. Well, I just wanted PJ to get a shot. Hey, PJ, if you're not trying to play Brittany Renner a massive amount, put it in Bitcoin. It's an asset, not your salary.
So a couple questions. First, they said, do you accept client payments in crypto?
Do I accept client payments in crypto? Not yet. I'll say not yet.
What's the hold up? What's the hold up if you don't mind us asking?
I'm not set up that way. I'm just traditional cash or check or credit cards. So I guess, actually some credit cards are accepting crypto for the payment. So if you paid your credit card with crypto, it's, it would be okay. I guess I'll be pseudo accepting it, but I'm not set up for it yet. So
nice. And Jams had a couple of comments. He said, I'm in class this morning. She's on point because that's exactly how the court review it. She's giving solutions too. Great episode. For us married folks, there's definitely a lot of married folks. I've been seeing y'all comment. I've been saying them out loud. I'm not getting y'all married folks in trouble. They also said, they said that Sandra's going to be on your top with Discovery Motions until you sell all your crypto to pay her fees. She's smart. They said, please ask her about her thoughts on smart contracts and how that might change the legal profession. Are lawyers starting to be educated on them?
I think smart contracts you're seeing more in the business world than in the divorce world right now. So that's not something that I'm really well versed in, but other than knowing what they are, but that's really more in the business world right now. So I don't see that making a transition over into the divorce world yet, but it's really more in the business world.
All right. And really quick, we want to jump on this last article of the day. El Salvador's Bitcoin wallet is 95% fixed. That's right. El Salvador's state Bitcoin wallet has continued facing major issues 1 week after its official rollout. So shout out to Bitcoin Mondays. I went to this meetup yesterday. They do it by the beach. I don't know what happened to the Bitcoin beach crowd that used to be out here. I guess they took their money and rolled out. I heard some of them actually retired. So I guess they dipped out to 2017 or 2018, whenever they were around. But there's a new crowd over here in California at the beach, and the Mondays meetup crowd had a chance to join that yesterday. They actually had two people speak that just came from El Salvador, literally just came back. And they were saying, they were telling about experience there. From their experience, a lot of people on the ground at least seem to like the president and the Bitcoin plan. Also, they said majority of the people didn't know what Bitcoin was. They just literally understood how to use it on their wallets. That's something I was like, I think that's what's going to happen in America. Nobody's going to know what it is. They're just going to know how to use it, the number or whatever. But also, they were talking about the wallets. They said that they couldn't connect their wallet. The lady who was speaking, she said she couldn't connect her wallet. She said it was because it was an avatar in the background of the official wallet. And she didn't really explain it why, but I understood what she was saying. They're making it so that you can only connect state-hosted wallets by having like an avatar. She said if you were to actually pull up the address and everything, or like if you wanted to pay for something, you could pull up the transaction code to your regular wallets, but you had to do that manually. To actually use the QR code, you had to use the state hosted wallet. So it's crazy to see that we are starting to go towards these centralized wallets. And El Salvador's, again, this is why you don't want a centralized wallet. Because if it goes down, now your whole country don't have a wallet. So it looks like, again, Chivo, El Salvador's official Bitcoin wallet, has temporarily disabled new registrations and halted app downloads for new smartphone models due to its ongoing issues with the app. Bukele said on Twitter late Monday, and literally she was just telling us about Chivo yesterday. And again, as I said, if you're using this wallet, which the state wants you to use, it wouldn't even be working. If you're not using that wallet, you have to do everything manually. Bitcoin, Zay, what are your thoughts?
Oh, yeah. So, of course, we discussed the wallet rollout, there being some issues at the beginning. But as I argued on Fox Business last week, remember the rollout of the health thing from Obama? Yeah,
that's true.
Website crashed the first day. First week was terrible. If you're in tech, the rollout is always going to be issues. That's not the end all be all. If that was the basis for what we measured everything, we wouldn't have any apps. So the tech rollout, of course, is going to be a bumpy road. Give it at least 6 months to a year for it to work out the kinks. And of course, we don't necessarily like the state-sponsored wallet part of it, but it's the first time. So it's going to be more centralized. And then as more countries do it, Ukraine just said they're going to start accepting Bitcoin for payments. maybe theirs will be a little bit less centralized. The next country will be a little bit less. We'll see. But the rollouts will be a little bit different in different places. And I think his passion for it is why he kind of lashed out on Twitter and was like yelling at Apple and Google to get it together. But again, you have to start somewhere. So kudos to them for starting. Chivo Wallet looks like it's up and running for most people once they work out some of the bugs.
I will say, Sandra, I'm assuming this will make your job a little bit easier if there were state site. I do think we're going to go there. We're going to have like a Fed coin or a stable coin here in the United States. So I guess how would that look, or would it even change anything since if it is a state-sponsored coin and wallet that we end up using?
Well, I think it just means there's more transparency. So it's not going to be as hidden, and it's going to be easier to find. And it just wouldn't be like a suspicion, which is what it is right now. It's a suspicion, and we have to go through forensics to try to find it and discovery and everything. I think if it's state sponsored and it's just open, then I think it's going to be easier to find and easier to, it'll be just like a stock that you have that you're dividing up with a brokerage account. So it's just, that's what I think the difference would be. I think it'll make things a little easier.
We just got a really good question in. People are asking about tokenized marriages on smart contracts of marriage on the blockchain, exchanging NFTs as virtual rings. What are your thoughts on all this tech stuff coming out when it comes to marriage? Like, I don't know. What are your raw thoughts on it?
Well, everything's analogous. So if you have a smart contract for your marriage, it's still a contract saying that here's what we're going to be doing. And if you have virtual rings that are NFTs, the rings everybody gets to keep once you get married. The marriage is a consideration, so they would be able to keep that. So it's really all analogous to the same thing as your diamond engagement ring or your wedding ring and your marriage contract. Your marriage contract is when you get married, like you have a contract. It's the same thing as a prenup or a postnup. They're just using a different format. So yes, it goes into the digital age. It's much more modern. It's very Jetsony, but it's not different when you just break it down to say, what is a contract? A contract is an agreement with two parties with a meeting of the minds, but these are the terms of the agreement. And you have to have some kind of consideration, which is either money or a promise to do something. And all those factors, all of those ingredients, if you want to use that word, are in a smart contract. And it would really be handled the same.
Nice. Bitcoins, they take
but different. The same but different,
So I'll say just my last question, just to finish it all up, is in the future, I believe we will have a metaverse where people have a lot of objects that are within the metaverse. Will that count towards assets as well? Because the only reason I'm saying it may not count as well in the real world is because in the metaverse, supposedly if we have NFTs that can be transferred from one place to another, does that get looked at as income as well if it's cryptocurrency?
It does get looked at as income if it's cryptocurrency because it has value. So it would just be like a car, for example, that you own in your marriage. It doesn't have a, it's not cash, it's a car, but the car has value. So an NFT has value. Like every time we hear about it, we hear like, here's how much it was bought for, and here's what the value might be in the future. So it has value. So even though you can trade it without ever selling it, it's still an asset that has value.
Yeah, that would suck. You got digital real estate and you got to give half of it. You got to cut off half of it.
Well,
yeah.
What I was going to say is what's crazy is what if they start to have divorce court in the metaverse?
In the metaverse. People don't understand, like cutting your parcel in half and having to look on the other side.
How crazy they be like, you need to be at the metaverse every other day. You need to be there at Decentraland Square, and we're gonna be talking about
here's the coordinates. Don't act like you can't come. Just put on your glasses.
A judge court orders a metaverse hearing. Oh my goodness, that would be for real. That's the future. We are in the future right now.
Oh yeah, ready for one stuff.
Daniel J said this is the most underrated discussion on the web. Yeah, people are actually liking this. They said y'all should have Sandra on once a month. Oh my goodness, listen, all the married folks woke up.
Thank you, whoever said that.
The married folks are here today. You all are hilarious. And I heard y'all wasn't smashing that like. You lucky we have a guest on. This will turn to a singing competition. Tomorrow we'll bring it back. Make sure you all smash that like and share. And really quick, Jake Fever, thank you for the tip. What if she told us not to, but it? What if she told us not to, but it? I don't know, Zay. That's it.
I don't know. Somebody got a little drunk this morning.
Retype it, Zay. I don't know what you're trying to say, man. Retype it. Other than that, folks, this is Sandra M. Radna. Again, you can find her at Radna Law, RADNALAW.com. You can also find her book, You're Getting Divorced, Now What? The Ultimate Divorce Court Guide, paperback. Both of those links we already put in the chat. We'll also put them in the description box. And Sandra, we'll let you take us out. What last thoughts or messages do you have for everyone today?
My last message is that planning makes a big difference. So if you are investing in cryptocurrency and you're planning on getting married, get a prenuptial agreement. It'll protect you. It'll protect your assets. You can say that no one ever gets my NFTs other than me. And if you are already married and you just want to clear everything up about who's going to keep what while everybody's getting along, is a really great time to do a postnup. I always say that that's the most underused tool in the toolbox of divorce attorneys, is the postnuptial agreement, because while you're getting along, to just say, look, I don't want to take your stuff, I want to be fair to you, but here's what we should each get. It makes everything much easier, because if you have an agreement, it's not all public for everybody to see. You have a lot of privacy, and you could just divide your stuff up and move on. So we could have a whole nother discussion on postnups a different day.
I didn't know those existed before today, so I learned something new for sure.
Definitely. First time hearing that.
I never heard of that.
We all heard prenup. We want prenup. We want prenup. Yeah.
People really don't use postnups, and I've used them very effectively in my practice for people, and it's just a really wonderful thing, because if you do end up getting divorced or separating, it tells you, here's how we're going to do everything, nice and easy. We all know it, and the whole world doesn't have to know your business.
Yeah. Again, I'm shocked that the professionals know about what's happening now. So this cat is officially out the bag, folks.
It's out of the bag.
Sandra, thank you for coming on today. I'm still ready to
come.
Everybody's super excited for having you on today.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, the next time we get like a big announcement, like it will come in the next year or two, where it's like court orders, XR, to pay half your RIP or whatever. Like, we definitely have to have you back on when that happens.
Okay, sounds great.
Yes, other than that, as always, thank you for being on the show. Again, folks, this show was sponsored by CryptoVantage.com. You can check them out at go.cryptovantage.com/gentlemen TAC crypto and sign up for that free giveaway, $1,500, 29 days left and 8 different ways to enter. Other than that, make sure you smash that like and share, and we will see you all tomorrow.